You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning.
I'm not here as a celebrity. I'm not here as a politician. I'm here as a mother. A mother who cares deeply about the world my children and all of our children live in.
My name is Amber Rose. I'm a model and entrepreneur. Thank you. But most importantly, I'm a mother. My whole world revolves around providing for my children, keeping them safe, and giving them an opportunity for a better life. That's something that unites all American parents, whether we're Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, or liberals. We all want a better country for our children.
And I think they've been investigating him for a minute. And what's interesting, you got to watch out for this, fam. Like last week, they gave Lil Durk the key to the city out there in Chicago. They just gave him the key to the city, and then they busted him. They did the same thing with Diddy, remember? You know, Sean Puffy Combs, Eric Adams gave Sean Puffy Combs the key to the city. Then he gets hit with some RICO charges, get hit with Fed charges. Yeah, you better understand how the white supremacists work. They do little crude jokes. You know, they know they're going to get you, so they'll sit up here and just fatten you up for the slaughter. They sit here and act like everything is all gravy, knowing they got some cooking in the background. So they sit up here behind the scenes and orchestrate elevating you and boosting your profile even higher. So when they take you down, it'll be a big bust. It could be a big career starting bust. They got to make sure you have a lot of significance. They really fatten you up before they take you down to the slaughter. So that's like a little cruel inside joke for them to sit up there and say, hey, yeah, before we bust him, go ahead and let's give him a key to the city and honor everything that he's doing. Yeah, no, he's trying to go the straight and narrow route. No, we're not going to let you do that. No, when they try to go straight and narrow, that's when they get him. Oh, nope, we're about to cash you in. So yeah, they've been sitting on information about dude for a minute. They just wait around for the right time to drop the hammer. And usually they drop the hammer around an election year so that, you know, a lot of people, they're on the ballot. They do these things around election year so that their names can be associated with these big busts. So when y'all go vote and then y'all go looking down the ballot and see some of these prosecutors and DAs and all of these people, you see their names on the ballot, their names are going to be associated with these high profile cases. So yeah, it's a game, man. It's a real funny style game out here.
So in our Gullah Geechee community, you have dreams, you got to pay attention to the dream. And so we grew up thinking things like, if Nana dreamed of a fish, she would come in the house and say, I dreamed of fish last night and somebody's pregnant. And everybody would say, not me, not me. But guess what? Somebody there was pregnant.
Wow.
If you dream of a naked man in a dream, it is the opposite. It's bad. That's a death. But it's the death of the opposite sex. So if you dream of a man, naked man, a woman's death is coming in the opposite transference. If you dream of a snake and in the dream you don't kill the snake, then that means be aware that you have an enemy. Watch yourself. They'll say, did you kill it? And say yes. Oh, well then you don't have to worry. They're still your enemy, but they can't harm you. So there are dreams, all kinds of dreams with interpretation. And trust me, I have seen them all come true. Now, I have dreams, and I have run away from my interpretations in terms of telling people because I don't want to, but I can't anymore. So I have dreams, and the dreams that I have are dreams that, again, affect large numbers of people. So I don't want them to put me on a straitjacket, but I have dreams of catastrophe. So when the 911 thing happened, I dreamed it before. I just didn't slow down to interpret it. I saw a plane go into a building. You can't tell that to people. They'll put you under arrest. I dreamed of the assassination of Anwar Sadat. I saw it in advance. Really? And so when that happens, what I do is immediately stop praying. Just pray right where we are so that we can maybe reverse it from happening. But yes, in the Gullah Geechee community, they are very serious spiritually about dreams and interpretation of dreams. Numbers, oh my goodness, we dream numbers. Numbers are interpreted into numerology. So just moving in the spirit with animals, with numbers.
Jameis, I can tell you're taking it all in right now. You're about to make your first start since 2022. Ken Dorsey said that he's been preaching to you to play smart but not conservative. What do you expect from yourself?
This is the day that the Lord has made. I will be glad and rejoice in it.
You're looking really focused right now. You told us this week that everyone inside this building believes that this is the time you guys can turn it around. What's been the message?
Unwavering faith, ultimate belief, depending on the Lord. That's all we got.
You told me no nerves, just excitement and butterflies. Still feel that way?
Unwavering faith, ultimate belief, dependence on the Lord.
The message is clear, guys. Thank you, Jameis.
It's a purpose for meditation. It's a reason that we meditate. And I was reading in Medu Netter how it was saying that because our body is so intelligent, meaning that our heart beating, our lung, our endocrine system, circulatory system, respiratory system, all of these systems exist through an intelligence. And when we talk about our social lives, our romantic lives, our financial lives, these things are actually simple when we just learn to meditate. But what is meditation exactly? It is the expansion of that indwelling intelligence. If you want to have a successful business, a successful relationship, a successful friendship, you don't really know how. The same way you don't really know how your heart beating. You don't really know how your brain process. It just does it. You don't even have to meditate for your body to operate at an optimal level. You just got to stay out of its way. What meditation does is it sends out that intelligence. Meditation is the key for you to get what you want.
The more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out.
Lord, 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 nothing I did, nothing I tried, nothing I smoked, nothing I snorted, nothing I drank, no man I did, no one did me, nothing did me any good. Oh Lord, even that the food I put in my mouth wouldn't help me, Lord. Woo!
You are traveling with the Hood Mystic. Time to now. You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic. Your favorite mystic's favorite mystic. Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. It's the Hood Mystic, representing hoodmystic.com, whiterabbitpsych.com, columbianexchange.com. Utilize the links in the descriptions to support this channel. If you like this type of work, spiritual, astrology, bunch of different things we do on this channel, but mainly serving the spiritual collective. If you want to support my channel, support all of those endeavors, please visit hoodmystic.com. That's where it goes down at. However, today we have a special video in reference to the upcoming new moon that takes place November 1st, 2024. I want to talk about this video. Usually, I'm not gonna lie, I be running behind time with these videos. I usually drop them on the new moon or on the full moon, but today I want to be a little different and hit y'all with the advancement. As the moon is waning, you can actually prepare for a new moon. And if you guys can hear me okay, just put a 1 in the chat. Be sure to like the video. If you do like the video, that is how you help the channel the most. It brings people to the channel. When you like the video, it tells YouTube's algorithm this video is dope. So if you do think this video is dope, go ahead and like the video. We appreciate you very much, man. So today we have, like I said, a special video where we're dealing with a Sidereal Libra new moon. And leading up to this Sidereal Libra new moon, we've been dealing with a waning moon. And when you look at a waning moon, it's more of a descending moon. It's pulling you back into darkness, more or less getting rid of the things that are blocking you in reference to your overall intention. Now, some may get a little bit overburdened or overwhelmed with the concept of intentions, meaning that, you know, I'm tired of setting intentions or I'm not getting my intentions met. But the reality of life is moving forward, is stretching out, reaching out, and accomplishing your goals internally and externally. You know, nobody wants to be on the lower rung of life if they can help it. You know, do not get caught up in the, you know, conscious rhetoric that all you need is yourself, or all you need is, you know, this meditation or whatever the case may be. All of those things matter. You do need yourself, you do need meditation, but you also need a bunch of other things along the way. And being able to just embrace that and accept that and do the work, right? Ultimately doing the work, getting the results you need. This is what the Sidereal Libra moon is about. And when you think about it, you have these scales, right? And the symbolism in reference to the scales, it goes so deep beyond what you see on the surface. And I feel that the fact of the symbolism being so deep and being like thousands and thousands of years in the trenches of reference of like information, and here we are in 2024 still bear witnessing to the reality of the scales. And when you think about these young children and the internet and the messages that they've been poured on upon, inundated by technology, society, entertainment, you name it, these images are coming to a halt, right? Because if you just have a world where everybody can do whatever the fuck they want to do, which it feels like that to a certain extent, ultimately, though, we come to a place, especially if you're a chosen one, you're always going to come to this place once a year where your scales have to be balanced. You know, because the ego says I can do whatever I want to a lesser or greater degree. And the reality is that you have a bunch of different things playing in the background. You have your future children, your future business partners, your future neighbors, everything that exists in the future. It starts with you adapting a particular mindset and saying, I'm going to get there. And as much as we say we want to get there so bad, this little piece, this very little piece called Libra or the scales is what we have to deal with. In this spiritual journey, being the person that I am, I've come across a lot of talented people, right? A lot of great people. One's in the chat. If throughout your life you have come across a lot of talented people that it seems on the outside, you're not on the inside, you're on the outside, that they wasted their potential. One's in the chat. If people like Little Durk have wasted their potential in life, you know, when we talk about astrology, we talk about the stars. Little Durk is a star, you know, so it's okay to talk about celebrities, people such as Beyonce and Jay-Z and Little Durk and J. Cole, so forth and so on, because if you ever seen a star in person, you will understand their aura is a little different. One's in the chat, if you ever been to a concert and bear witness on a performer. And did you notice that their aura was different? Something about their skin, something about their eyes, something about their height, something about them, maybe they weren't as attractive as you thought, but yet and still, the aura and the mentality of a star is different than a nigga that you just see walking down the street. So when we talk about stars, we're talking about something real, and we're also talking about something that can be cultivated within us. So with all of that being said, I want to direct people first and foremost to the article and, you know, share this. And it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. You may not understand it, but I've been on my journaling kick, right? We have the article, link is in the description, but right under the article, we have the journal prompts, right? And I'm gonna show you the beginning of it, and I'm gonna also show you the end of it, because a lot of times when we set our intentions during the new moon, we forget that we even set the intention. If you ask a person 4 days after they set the intention, what's your new moon intention? I don't know, I forgot. And we're talking about the things that you intuitively or internally deeply desire and deeply want, and you forgot it. One's in the chat if that's crazy. But first off, this is a new moon in Sidereal Libra worksheet. I'm not even showing it to y'all. Let me show y'all. Right? Because once you click, as soon as you get on the article, you can see the link, but in the YouTube description, there is a direct link, right? And not even to charge people on this, because when you look at articles and websites and things of that nature, the information is free. But the value is not in the information. The value is in you doing the work. The value is in me doing the work. So this is another reason that I'm doing this new moon video 3 days before the new moon, November 1st. So in the meantime, in between time, even 3 to 5 days after the new moon, if you're watching this video November 4th, download this worksheet and remind yourself of the intention. A good thing to do is read the article first, So you have a basis of the information and then fill it in. You don't have to actually utilize the worksheet. You can use your notebook, but why are you just writing random things in your notebook? Whatever comes to mind. Awesome, great, but is it leading to breakthroughs? In reference to this, right? In reference to this new moon in Libra, another thing that we got going on in the Substack that, this is for real. I have to charge for this, right? And it's mainly a sneak peek because the next thing that we're going to do is do a financial shadow work intensive. And the reason that we're calling it an intensive is because the shit is intense. And it is all about what's happening within you. But if you want a sneak peek, all you have to do is join the White Rabbit, subscribe for $5 a month. That's like 50 cents a day, give or take, right? And you'll get access to the ebook that I'm working on, but also the worksheets. The worksheets then get compiled, the ebook gets compiled, and we sit in a group and we go through these prompts. And we talk about what we're writing, what we're journaling, because when I'm going through these prompts, identifying money shadows, and I have to deal with how I grew up in my financial life of how I grew up. And I realize I've experienced, I know it, but I didn't journal it. I didn't allow the energy to come to the surface and re-examine it and to be like, damn, I'm living exactly like my parents lived. Subconsciously, unconsciously. So therefore, I have goals and dreams to be the best version of myself. But when we're doing this unconscious and subconscious work, what is it actually doing? It's releasing the chain that you didn't even know was there. And when we talk about shadow work, it's like give her, 50-50. I feel like doing it. I don't feel like doing it. But if you know that week after week, you have the same financial struggles and you can't do anything about it, and you intuitively know you can't do anything about it, man, join the Substack, sign up for the, if you like this thing for real, at the end of it all, I want to experience it too. So if you're in the mode of wanting to experience spiritual transformations that require you to do the work, man, first of all, join the Substack. And if you can't join the Substack or don't want to join the Substack, take part in the financial shadow work intensive. It should be starting next week. I want to finish all of these compilations and workbooks and everything by the end of this week. So starting Sunday, right? Once again, how did I get here? Just letting people know, how did I get here? Because at a certain point, people will see you ascend and they'll be like, man, this nigga is practicing witchcraft. No, we in the Discord with it. The Initiates Discord, join the Discord, join the Discord, join the Discord, right? People sharing information, chatting it up, all types of different conversations going on. I'm even giving people the workbook. I want to see how people are, how it worked for you. So, join the Discord, peruse. But mainly how I got here was through the masterminds. Every Sunday at 6 p.m., me and the guys from the Initiates for the Flame is going live, doing basically a book study, uncovering things within our psyche, having real deep spiritual conversations. So therefore, you got to have your mindset to say, I'm ready to make a change and I'm ready to examine my mind. And me personally have brought out, because me personally just trying to figure out that next idea, that next thing that I want to be passionate about. A lot of times if you don't have that fire, you feel like you an ain't shit ass nigga. One's in the chat, if you like me and you don't got the passion behind you, you don't really want to do it, you just at work, you hate the job, but it's a paycheck. Don't no man want to live like that, right? You got to uncover that sparks. And those sparks. And me being a part of the initiates, being a part of the mastermind, going through the books, having to be accountable, and having to figure something out, and not just sitting back, letting life pass me by, but really taking the bull by the horns. Yesterday, we talked about being the charioteer of our own destiny, directing our own destiny. And the reality, and I've been speaking about this for a long time, right? But it's just more truer now. You have to save yourself. Nobody can save you. You have to do the work. Now, what work is it for you to do? Now, this is where it comes to like really figuring it out by understanding the energy for today. So what I want to do in studying this Sidereal Libra new moon is go through the article that's on my website. Once again, if you just want to read the article, feel free to just read the article. The link is in the description. But I want to give more detail, more backstory, reference my notes, because when I'm putting out an article, I got 1,001 things that I'm referencing, and then I really strip it down to like 10 things. So after every article, there's a cache of knowledge and information that's in the background that I just be wanting to share with people and just more or less have a powwow about, have a loose conversation. But if you want something ordered, if you want something direct, then visit the article, read the article, join the Substack. You can join for free or join for $5. You'll get access to the financial shadow work worksheets and articles that will be coming down the pipeline this week. And me personally, I'm just trying. I have a lot of different ideas that, my only problem is I don't have a clone that I could just do multiple things in one day. But learning how to like siphon and separate and really focus on the things and get things done and build and expand and do all of these particular things is just something that I was actually hoping for in the previous new moon. Into the full moon, we have, a wealth portal that hopefully, I was up all night doing rituals and being weird during the full moon. But, this is what it brought me to. Because 2 weeks ago, I was not in this energy. I was not as optimistic, but at the same time, like Bobby Hemmett say, you got to go to war with this shit. If you feel down, if you feel held back, if you feel angry, if you feel like you want to fight, well, you got to learn how to fight back spiritually through your ritual, through your candle magic, through your meditation. And it was so powerful today. This morning, I said in the yesterday's video, I said that I was going to wake up and meditate. And today I woke up, did a guided meditation to be open and to receive. And during that meditation, I got an order. It's not a great thing, but it's spirit letting me know that I'm in the right direction, because I was really into just being open to receive. And it was just like one of those magical things. If you have like a notification for your business app, when you get a sale, when you get a sale. And it was just such a deep confirmation for me, to really not take my meditation for granted, like get into my meditation bag. And it don't have to be one time a day. It could be 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night. But just understanding that when you meditate, you change your life for the better. When you sincerely meditate with a purpose. And a lot of times when we talk about meditation, it's very loosey-goosey. And if ever you had some vision that was loosey-goosey, it wasn't never good, right? Whenever you have some tight, precise vision, you wanna marry her. When you get some good vision, you don't want nobody touching it. If it ain't so good, you don't care really. You just send the wind with it. But ladies, when he becomes the type of guy that say, hey, I don't want no man messing with you no more. That's because he in love. You put that good Gucci on him. That good vagine on him. Now you want to marry you and take you different places, right? If he don't ever want to take you out. Anyways. What makes a new moon so powerful? A new moon is powerful because the earth is completely dark. Meaning that since the moon, a full moon, a quarter moon, it reflects the sun's light, the light in the nighttime is much more lighter. And based upon studies, you get less sleep when the moon is out versus when there is no moon, because darkness. And when we understand darkness, darkness is what allows melatonin to rise. So if you're in shambles right now and you can't go left from right and you go to sleep with a goddamn flat screen on, throw the fucking flat screen out the fucking room. One's in the chat. Which one of y'all is going to sleep watching TV in 2024? That gotta be the craziest shit ever. Just falling asleep watching TV. Hey, listen, grow up. Okay? Grow up, because it's childhood shit. Wanting to watch TV when you was a little kid. Wanting to watch TV when you're a little kid, and your mama said, cut that damn TV off, and you got mad. So when you got grown, or when you became a teenager, you was watching TV till you fell asleep. You was an adult now. TV should be in the TV room. Sleep in the bedroom, blacked out sheets. So we doing not blacked out sheets, but blacked out curtains, no TV, no phone, complete darkness. Because why? Because this allows the melatonin to rise. And when the melatonin rises, that creates the balance necessary for an optimal life. Because in reference to having a TV, 10 times out of 10, you done bought that TV with some money that you got from your job. If you got a nice room, a nice house, a nice home, I bet your ass work hard for that stuff. And therefore, during the sun or during the day, you utilize all of your energy. So you maxed out in the sun, and in the moon, you just want to relax and veg. No, the reality is this: you have to do work in the nighttime the same way that you have to do work in the daytime. So the power of a new moon is essentially when the moon is not a factor in referencing your melatonin, because in actuality, the moon plays counterintuitive to the reality of you. Because we don't need, in essence, we need a moon based upon the water and the tides and the things of that nature, but we do still have a sun that lights the earth and things of that nature. And the moon does have a particular effect on the earth, but if we were just a planet that didn't have a moon, or the moon didn't reflect the sun's light, we would still be okay. Meaning that the moon is in the sky, but the way that the angle that the sun is, the sun doesn't reflect off the moon. So now we just have a dark moon. Well, if we had a dark moon, we would still be okay. We would be better because our melatonin would be right and exact. Because in light, melatonin is suppressed. Daytime, melatonin is suppressed. So the things that we like to do, the things that we understand about ourselves, especially if we like to go out to clubs or just like to drive around at night, one's in the chat if you ever notice that music sound completely different at night. Like if you ever listen to Mobb Deep during the day, you'd be like, man, I don't like Mobb Deep. Problem is you didn't listen to Mobb Deep at night when you was selling dope. Driving a Caprice Classic. If you was driving a loud Caprice listening to some Mobb Deep, you would feel right at home. Don't be in New York. Shit, you would just feel like you wrapped in the arms. I was gonna say something crazy, but it is not daytime music. It's nighttime music. So the effect and the energy of the individual, let's keep it real. We are black people. That's what they call us. But let's reference that blackness to darkness, to the night, to the melatonin, to our creativity, our ability to tap into ancient memories. And do you know all of this spiritual stuff that have been appropriated and westernized come from us in our dream world? Had a phone call. But anyways, when we talk about the truth and where we could tap in at, where we could have self-realizations at, it's going to be in the darkness. It's going to be in the night. But we don't have any skills at night. Nobody is putting out resumes in reference to having our dreams to be weaved, or nobody is really trying to absolutely specifically understand our dreams. But like when we study astrology, this is black people stuff. This is our science. But it's been so appropriated, and let's say misappropriated by Western culture, that the truth of astrology, which is the observation of stars, not the observation of astrology charts, but the observation of the wandering classical planets or wandering stars that travel around the night sky, conjunct fixed stars and constellations. So you have the wandering stars orbiting around the ecliptic year after year, century after century, and then you have the fixed stars that don't rotate at all. So the ancestors could observe that it's basically a wall of stars. And then you have wandering stars that move basically in a perfect circle. Since we are the original people, we are the first people to observe this phenomenon and create the science, the Vedic science pertaining to what we're talking about now. And every time we talk about new moons and full moons, the most important aspect that I want to lay out is the timing of it all. When we talk about a new moon, we're talking about a new moon, a new energy, a new vibration. So when people have a fatigue, spiritual fatigue, where they feel like they did too much studying of spirituality, right? They have too much going on. They want to be too deep. They want to, keep going further and further, deeper and deeper. Reality don't even work like that. Every 28 days, we have a new cycle. Every 23.98 hours, because it ain't a 24-hour circle, a sidereal day. Right? What is a sidereal day? Let's get, because it might have changed. A sidereal day. So there is no such thing as 24 hours in a day. That is not real. Okay? So anytime you're in a structure with people and they're saying you got to be here Monday at 8 o'clock, Tuesday at 8 o'clock, Wednesday, so forth and so on, they're putting you in a lockdown because we are natural observatory people. We don't need a system to observe the reality. So there's ones in the chat, if nobody needs to tell you the difference between day and night. One's in the chat, if that's self-evident to you, that day and night is self-evident. One's in the chat, if some days are longer than the other days. Now, if you bear witness to those two facts, then you have this 24-hour lockdown that says everything is the same. And then you have another layer of lockdown that is westernized astrology, Western astrology, tropical astrology that says every sign is the same size. Well, the original observers didn't even understand that concept because they knew that the sun, moon, Virgo, whatever, the sun traveled 9 days through Scorpio, or the moon traveled 7 hours through Scorpio, or 1 day through Scorpio, however it looks. But the observation is true. The system is trying to mimic the observation. So when a sidereal day is 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds long. If we lived in truth, then that means you gotta throw the calendars away, because the calendar is to make sure that your ass is there at a specific time. The calendar is to make sure that me and you is there at a specific time. So therefore, if we was going to actually monitor the system, it's impossible to do, because it's a different reality for me and for you. So the government, because we're talking about Libra, the government rules a system. And because they rule a system, they control a segment of the population who needs a system. So you then need to ask yourself, do I need a system to exist, or am I an observer of reality? Am I a child of my ancestors? Am I in tune and lockstep with my ancestors that exist in celestial bodies? So when we study astrology, we're studying the stars, we're studying the heavens, we're studying the ancestors, we're studying the spirits, we're studying the entities, we're studying the mythologies, we're studying the cosmology, we're studying the history, we're understanding our power, we're understanding our strength. But we cannot study it in a space where they're lying, because therefore we'll waste a lot of time. And being ingrained in my ancestors, more than anything, they told me, you got to get off this Western shit. You got to get off this tropical. But y'all got to understand, I was getting 60,000 views of video. 60,000 views of video. And some people, I know 99.9% of the people is going to tell the ancestors to go to hell. 60K a vid. People love the Western astrology, but it's not honest. So, and it's okay, because when you operate through honest observation, basically what I'm saying is, I don't like them niggas anyways. Like, I don't like I can still, it's been recently where I've had videos that have done 1 million views and things of that nature. And it don't change my life at all. It don't affect my life no way whatsoever. However, when I'm ingrained in the truth, when I'm ingrained in the ancestors, I feel better. I do better. I live better. So with all this being said, a new moon is a powerful time to become new again. Not consistently live off of clout, consistently live off of rep, but to reimagine, re-understand, and put new intentions down. Where are you headed? Where are you directing? So if at first we ever had training tracks or train tracks rather, tracks to train, I confuse train tracks and training wheels, and that came training tracks. But anyways, if you were on train tracks, imaginary train tracks, and then automatically those train tracks disappear overnight, how would you know you were going on the right direction? And I know you're probably wondering what I mean, what I say when I mean, but what I mean is they left us out here butt, booty, bald, naked. Man, they would have had us watching Beyonce videos till we learned the dance steps. They would have had us crashing out, watching drill music. We don't have a totem in reference, like Black people don't have a succinct, identifiable culture. So if nobody is going to give me a culture, nobody is going to give me a tradition, I got to be like the nigga from Comic View. Y'all hit to look around, look around. I'm just in this earth. Nobody is telling me anything about, only thing that niggas is telling me is propaganda. When I'm trying to find some reality, it's hard to find it in a cultural sense. So I look around and I look around and I see astrology, but not only the study of astrology, what it leads into. So a lot of this is history. A lot of this is a story. A lot of this is a reality. And part of Libra, I guess one of the heartbreaking spaces, especially when you in, you in a spiritual position where people come to you and they ask you things. When it comes to Anubis, I ain't got shit to do with that. Right? When it comes to how you've been living these past 6 months, I ain't got shit to do with that. Is your heart as light as a feather? I don't got shit to do with that. And I try to make you laugh. I try to provide the information and the worksheets and the Substacks and the Discord and, join my Instagram or whatever the case may be. Like herbs, psychedelics, microdose, I offer it all. But if you ain't ready to shed all of the bullshit, it's all gonna seem for naught. If you got some fucked up formative year shit playing out in your life, that's more dominant than any new information that you're going to receive. What is you anchored in? If you're not anchored in positivity, you're going to be anchored in negativity. And when you anchored in negative energy, you're going to create the negative no matter how much you learn. That's the saddest part about this spiritual shit. Even more so is people like Charleston White that say, ain't even no reason to help Black people. Because they don't even appreciate it. And I get it, I understand, because shit, nobody even gave us a culture. Nobody ever gave us a tradition. We got to figure all this shit out from the hip. And imagine how behind you are, where families have been passing down traditions and culture for centuries. It's a reason that you don't see a Chinese girl pregnant. It's a reason that they all got flawless skin. It's ancient traditions. Hold on one second. My bad, I just got a phone call. There'd be a lot of shit going on in the hood mystic verse. But anyways, like I said, my only problem right now, is I need a fucking clone. I need that cloning technology. One's in the chat if they need to hurry the fuck up with clone technology. Right? Like, come on now. I need a DJ clone. I need an article clone. I need an astrologer clone. Me, the original vessel, or I'm going to just be knee deep in vagine 24/7. I'm going to just be up in some shit while all my clones is doing all of the work. Come on, Elon. Come on. They talk about Gucci Mane. We need some hood mystic clones. I used to be opposed to technology. But when you get some good vagine, you just want to stay in it. But then you like, damn, I got to be productive. Now, before we get into this conversation, I want to read this comment. I seen it, but my ability to focus is one thing at a time. One's in the chat. I'm not a multitasker. Yo, Hood, I might be off topic, but what spirits do you suggest I should work with that can kick these undercover agents' ass and stop gang stalking me? They got me on the target list, nation security. Let's deal with the why. If you can deal with the why, because it's like I've been watching the Terminator 1, Terminator 2. I've been dealing with the Matrix. I've watched those movies when I was a kid. I didn't know what I was watching, but watching them as an adult, it ain't no doubt they talking about black people. And like John Connor, that's a black family. His mama, that's a black mama for your ass, right? Like, come on now. Terminator 2, them is black people. But anyways, if the government, so basically, the government is advanced with astrology, sidereal astrology. So when it comes to time, place, location, they know when the spirit is going to incarnate. That spirit then gets registered day one. What you got to do before you leave the hospital: birth certificate, social security number. When you go to school, what do they want? Birth certificate, social security number. So when they put you in class, they put agent kids in the class with you, monitoring spirits. Everywhere you go, every job you get, when you get a job, what do you got to give them? Birth certificate, social security. The CIA monitors us.
This is their job. It's a such thing as agents. It's a such thing as gang stalking. All of this shit is real because the point of it is they don't want you to know who you are. So once again, to answer this question, the only way to answer it is why. Because if you don't answer it with the correct why, then it's these people that's fucking with you for no reason. And the reality is they not fucking with you for no reason. They fucking with you because of who you are. And if you don't know who you are, they'll continuously fuck with you. But then once you get the proper perspective, when Neo figured out who he was, when John Connor figured out who he was, the entities and the agents, they got their ass kicked. It's a part in the movie where you realize who you are and you begin to kick ass. But if you never get to that part, then your perspective is incorrect. So whenever people tell me they've been hexed, somebody put black magic on them, etc., and I gave this analogy before and I'll give the analogy again. People put spells on you because they see your power and they see your strength and they gotta do something to hold you back. And a lot of times it don't even have to be good power, because sometimes you use power for bad. Because like my family, we got something in us, right? We just a regular black family, but we got something in us. So I used to live with my aunt, a powerful witch. But she on bullshit though. So I would have to do binding spells to keep her at bay because I was living with her. She ain't like that shit, but I got my point across. like, you know, because she was using her power for bad. You know, having a successful trap house. And it's like, come on now, we don't need to use our power for successful trap houses. We can use our power for so much better stuff. We don't need, you know. So with that being said, when you have a lot of power, people is going to put in, and if she knew that I did a binding spell on her, she could have easily reversed her. She could have easily reversed it, but part of it is just learning how to, like, motherfuckers don't need to know what type of magic you doing and why you doing it. You just gotta just do it because that's how this shit goes. Now, I feel like I was in my right getting into the conversation of Libra. I felt like it was morally responsible of me to do a binding spell on her ass. You can be facing a powerful enemy, and at that point, you're not morally obligated to do something that is like to get your ass kicked. No, you gotta win. Right? You gotta win, and depending on how you fight, you can fight to the death, or you could just, you know, hit them with some light taps. But at the end of the day, this is spiritual warfare. And if you a kid and your dad is abusive, bind his motherfucking bitch ass. You a lady. It y'all, and I'm gonna tell y'all a scenario. You met a nigga at work, one's in the chat. Y'all got along, one's in the chat. This nigga was in a fucked up living situation, but he trauma bonding with your goofy ass the whole day. You know what I'm saying? 8 hours a day, to the point where you feel like you know him, right? You know him, right? So what you say? You might as well just move in with me. I got an extra room, knowing damn well he gonna be in your bed, but I got an extra room. We can split the rent. I'm loving it, right? First week is like heaven. The second week, you start to realize why this nigga homeless. This nigga slow. Now, the problem with slow niggas is that they dangerous. The problem with niggas that don't emotionally regulate is two problems. They broke as hell and they dangerous. And they highly manipulative. Now we in your crib. You in a danger zone, sis. Never move in with the nigga. Don't never move a nigga in your house, period, point blank. That's the opposite. If you gonna do it the right way where you move in with him. Because if you move in with him, he can't then be like, he ain't gonna be saying, well, you know you gotta go 50-50 on these bills. We're like, nigga, you asked me to move in here. But if it's the other way around, it's kind of implied, right? If you gotta figure this out, how many times can you take this nigga out to dinner before it starts to aggravate you? And let him know, I'll take care of you for 2 weeks. Then I'm gonna start to get aggravated, and then we gotta go into some sense of normalcy where you be the provider and protector, or else my pussy gonna get dry. That's why you gotta stay hydrated. But anyways, when we operate outside of the masculine and feminine polarities and truth, and then we try to like flip it into some shit where I'm gonna give him a chance, I'm gonna let him that's dangerous. It gets dangerous. So what we're talking about is a point in time that is, will you be granted your wish or not? And you can't just tell that man to leave because he didn't been living there for 6 months. You'll be like, I think you should leave. Like, I think you should make me leave. How about that? See, here you go. Every time you come home from work, you got an attitude. Just because I've been playing on a PS5, I told you I've been streaming on Twitch. I'm trying to get monetized. You always trying to kill my dream, sis. Always trying to... At that point, you need to do a binding spell. And at that point, Anubis and Ma'at said, oh yeah, that's balance, babe. Yeah, we gonna get that nigga out. And hopefully you got a brother or a dad that'll... Never mind, that's probably too deep. But yeah, you'll be surprised when you a divine feminine, when you start, well, how do I do a binding spell? A binding spell is like, if you ever play an RPG, that's the spell you get. That's the spell they just gonna give you. Right? A binding spell is like basic. If you never did a binding spell, you probably never did a spell at all, because there is no right way to do a binding spell. If you got a pen and a piece of paper, you can do a binding spell. If you got a string and a stick, 2 sticks and a string, that's a potent ass binding spell. And the reason that I say this is because if you don't do a binding spell good, why the fuck you... First of all, everything you want it bound to you. So say for instance, you want a money spell. You don't want a money spell, you just want to bind the money to you. You don't want a love spell, you just want to bind that sexy ass girl to you. You want to bind that, you want to be bound. So when you think about it, you start to examine like, oh shit, me and this nigga bound for real? Ooh, I did a love. Ooh, damn, I bound this nigga to me. Ooh, damn. Sheesh. So, and then also like Libra has so many different themes, so many different realizations to it. Like Libra is so many different things. It is government, it is karma, it is marriage, it's business, it's partnership, because you can't run a successful business by yourself. That's not even a real thing, right? At least because when you talk about government, you talk about marriage, you talk about business, the original business partner was man and wife, right? When I'm getting the supplies, she at the front desk. If she's in the back cooking, I'm at the front, right? We're working together. So the premise of all relationships was so people could work together. Think about how crazy the ancestors is looking down on us when we in relationships with people that we can't even work with. One's in the chat if that's so crazy. No matter of fact, one's in the chat if you've been with somebody in a relationship that you cannot work with, you cannot build with, but you love them. One's in the chat if you in a relationship with that, in a relationship like that, or you have been in a relationship like that, where I love this person with all my heart, but when it comes to making a couple dollars, she gonna look at me like I'm crazy. And I want you to think about how crazy it is when we encompass Libra. Imagine somebody just loving you. That's not even real love. In the history of life, because we're talking about something ancient, and when Anubis is balancing the scales of the relationship, and when the shit is not balanced, the relationship is over. One's in the chat if you love somebody and the relationship just didn't work out and you had no control over it, like you tried. One's in the chat if you ever tried. And be sure to like the video if you just now getting here. It really helps the algorithm. It lets people know that you like the video and it'll show it to other people. It's probably one of the greatest things you can do for your favorite YouTube video. Like it, like it, like it. But imagine, and on the flip side, have you ever been in a relationship where y'all work together? It's easy. Y'all connect. You be examining it too, because you got a little trauma in the past life, like with your relationships not ever working out. So you testing those areas that used to be weak in your past relationships, and that shit is strong, right? It's strong. See, that's the difference when the scales balance out. And I would hope that like you could begin to examine the different areas, like fuck all the bullshit, you know? Sitting back at work, is the scales balanced? In my relationship, is the scales balanced? With my friends, is the scales balanced? With my kids, is the scales balanced? With my family, is the scales balanced? Or are they doing more and I am doing less? Or am I doing more? Then you got to have the conversation. And then if the conversation don't go the way that you expect it to go, you got to actually let it go, because this energy is so ancient and so real and so dense from ancient times to now, right? When you see somebody like Lil Durk going through what he's going through, and his friends going through what he's going through, the people that took out Julio Fulio going through what they going through, right? When people get caught for their crimes, YNW Melly going through what he going through, Young Thug going through what he going through. It's a lot of rappers, and then just law and crime in general, just that YouTube channel. When you do a crime in 2024, they have so much data, so much information that it's almost as if that these people wanted to go to jail. And the reality is they didn't want to go to jail. But when you talk about the energy of Anubis, right, the energy of young Dolph, it's a lot of, like, when people transition, at first it's so traumatic and it's so sad, but then they uncover who they are spiritually. And there's so many different clues in so I can just show you that young Dolph is Anubis, right? Because and this is just one thing, right? This is just one thing. How many niggas do you know named Adolf? Let's just start there. How many young niggas do you know named Adolf? The name is a compound derived of the Old High German Athelwolf, Adolf, a composition of Adai, meaning noble, meaning combat, and wolf. Okay, think about this. What does the wolf relate to? What is the difference between a jackal and a wolf? So when you're talking about Anubis, you're talking about a wild dog, right? Which in the West, they call it a wolf. In those times, they would call it a jackal. But even deeper, when you talk about Anubis, Anubis's head is that of a canine, a dog head, right? Depicted as a canine or a man with a canine head. So where was Anubis at? Anubis was in Anubis was an ancient Egyptian god of the dead, and embalming is associated with Memphis. Memphis is a place in Egypt. Where's young Dolph from? Memphis. Now, what does Adolf actually mean? It means a man and a wolf. What is Anubis? A man and a wolf. When did young Dolph die? In November. Right? November, which is going to be where this new moon takes place in the month of November. Those people killed young Dolph. And then we seen the trial and we got all of the details. And when we retrospected, they killed young Dolph for nothing. And it's almost as if that the people that killed young Dolph wanted to go to jail, because they'll be watching the videos of it. And then the man got on the stand and just told the whole story. The man who killed young Dolph said it with no remorse or no shame, because young Dolph have already came to that man in his dreams and comforted him and said that it was okay, but you still got to do the right thing. Only way that this happens this way is spiritual. And ultimately, when it's all said and done, we then see a bunch of things change since 2021. We were in a state, energetically, our kids, where all they was ever going to listen to was drill music. And these people was going to kill, murder, and rap about it and get away with it. Now, the people that's in a deeper thing about it, Young Dolph wasn't even born in Memphis. Young Dolph was born in Chicago. Chicago is the same place Lil Durk is born. And we all know, or we should know, Lil Durk, one of the biggest hip hop artists, one of the biggest hip hop stars, is in jail for murder. And when we talk about being in jail for murder, that is some Sun and Libra stuff. Because when you look at Libra and you look at the court system, and the root of it is that I could do something to somebody and get away with it. And this is why people would even do the things that they would do in ancient time, because they could get away with it. Now imagine a group of citizens and people that's just doing whatever they want to do. At a certain point, a spirit would have to intercede and say, hold on, this whole entire place is going to descend in chaos. And in every community, in every village, in every city, in every town, it is this spirit of Libra. In every city, in every town, in every village, there is what is called a courthouse. And that courthouse is not some random building. That courthouse, and I'll just give you an example of it, because I would have to go through every city hall. In Columbus, Ohio, the city hall is built with mound dirt. And I don't know if it's the city hall, and it probably won't even be on the internet for real. But when you go up to it and read it, oh yeah, here we go. The Columbus Courthouse Mound refers to the historical location of the Franklin County Courthouse in Columbus, Ohio. That's just because I used to live in Columbus, Ohio, and I did my research, and I haven't traveled to every city. But if you got a bag to spend and you want to do some content and travel, hit up my Gmail. We can make this shit happen, right? We can uncover this shit as a unit. But beyond that, I'm going to deal with what I can deal with. But if your main courthouse or your main city hall is on top of a mound, you can go to that mound and connect to it. That mound have a spiritual energy that the Westerners or the colonizers have tapped into. So just imagine a plug. That plug that's given the electricity can't differentiate between my MacBook or my ring light. It's going to supply power to my MacBook, my ring light, and my refrigerator because it has no understanding. It's just giving power. So you ever heard of the what is it called? The sovereignty movement? These movements get suppressed. But in essence, they show you that these judges don't have jurisdiction on the land for real. They just tapped into a particular energy, and at best, they just blocking you from it. But in reality, you can still tap into it by just going to the courthouse and rubbing against the building, meditating at the courthouse. Because that courthouse is a mound. Right? But then when they send you to the courthouse, what do? You ever been to court and make you be stressed out about court? One's in the chat. You be stressed out about going to court. You be stressed out about having to go to, any type of court from misdemeanor to felony. It creates stress, and you got to sit there and they have you waiting. Go sign up over here. You sign up, you waiting for an hour. You know, they conjuring up those negative emotions so they can siphon you. That's why I don't go into courtrooms without a mojo bag. Because I have to energetically fight back, because they fighting me spiritually, but we don't realize it. We don't understand it because we don't understand who we are. So all of this is Libra, because Libra is actually the earth spot that connects you to the world. My understanding of astrology came from observing mounds. And my ancestors would say this is where they would do astrological practices. And I would be like, well, that's interesting. And then one day we had a solar eclipse in the daytime in 2017. I would have been going to this mound and never was nobody there except when it was a solar eclipse and it was like 300 people there. Niggas was barbecuing, having a good old time. And I'm like, God damn, my ancestors was right. My ancestors was leading me to the right place, because in this country, you are a mound builder, you are a Moor, and there's the science of the earth, geomancy that connects to the stars and magic, and we have all of these capabilities within us. But if we're not even understand, we think that the court system is ruled by the Westerners. We think that the cops is ruled by the Westerners, and we are the energetic source of that. We just not connected to it. So at a certain point, your money magic, your life magic is all about time and place, working with the energy and transmuting that raw energy. And this is what they do by positioning these courthouses strategically. You ain't never see them build a courthouse a day in your life. That courthouse was already built. That city was already here. You just entered into a matrix. You entered into a system. So when you step back and you observe the system from the outside looking in, then you have to be what is called sovereign. You have to be accountable. You have to be sidereal. What does sidereal even mean? Because you heard me say it a couple of times in this broadcast, but what does it mean? Of or pertaining to the stars, or simply like the stars. Because we are sidereal beings and we operate in sidereal time and sidereal motion. What is that like? That's like when you see, when you at the club and your girl is dancing a certain way and y'all girl from work that y'all brought to the club is dancing a whole other way. You like, where you learn them dance moves from? You know the beat is right here, right? The one is right here. Why can't you just bounce on the one? You all over here, sis. She not even operating in sidereal time and motion. One's in the chat. If you ever seen your friend from work can't catch the beat to save her life. Because it's all connected. And it's all in this deeper understanding of Anubis, the spirit of young Dolph, finances, everything that young Dolph stood for, love, family, finance, is Anubis energy. To get a sincere love in your life, you got to pass a gateway. To reach break a financial barrier in your life, you got to pass a gateway. To find people that you can work with and make money with, you got to pass a gateway. And for us who don't pass the gateway, it's self-evident. You know, people that was in relationships, they ain't in that relationship no more. You know, people that had jobs, they ain't in that job no more. Because every year, every moon cycle, the question is, what have you been doing? Are you ready to transcend? You don't make up this shit on your own. Well, at a certain level, you do by doing the inner work. But at a certain point, it's a reason that you want to adjust yourself. And be weary of people who don't want to adjust, that don't want to. And once again, I'm just using that word, and it's just coming from it's coming from spirit. What is the tarot card that rules Libra? In the Thoth Tarot deck, that card is called Adjustment. And we talked about it in our last live, but for those who didn't see our last live, adjustment is the merging of the free will of us as human beings, where we think we can do whatever we want, with the true will of the soul. Now, when you access the true will of the soul, that is your heart being light as a feather, because it knows its true perspective. It knows who it is in totality. It knows the immense greatness that it possesses. When you exist as a human being, you full of limits, you full of fears, you full of phobias, you full of being, all types of shit where you don't even know if you can pay your bills. Like, if you stressed out, if you know you can't pay your bills, shit, you're not gonna make it. Because it's a mode within you that knows that you can be rich, and that's gonna apply itself, and them bills ain't gonna be shit to you. But the fear of it all that comes along with being a human being don't have nothing to do with who you are as a soul. And that is the adjustment that Libra is working so hard, and is broken down into 3 deacons: peace, sorrow, and truce. Meaning that you have to make peace with yourself, you have to rid yourself of the sorrow, and you have to make a truce with your lower self and your ego self to say, I got you. I know it's been rough. I know it's been fucked up. I know you haven't gotten what you wanted to get. But if you can actually have the viewpoint of your inner self through meditation, through journaling, at a certain point, it be motherfuckers getting on this platform in the chat. Hey, is there anything else we could do besides journaling and meditation? I've already journaled. I've already meditated. It hasn't worked. Is there anything we should do besides breathing? I've already breathed. It doesn't work. Let's keep it basic. Let's keep it concise, and let's do it right. Why keep it basic? Why keep it concise? So we can spread the information. If there's a million things you could do, then how are you going to be able to spread that information? If you had a cookbook that got 1 million recipes, 1 million different variations, well, you could actually use 1,000 different spices. Then is it really a recipe? But if you tell me I need 1/3 of a cup of balsamic vinegar, and you tell me balsamic vinegar and I get apple cider vinegar and it tastes weird, it's because it was precise recipes for your ass to get to a certain level, and you didn't take heed to it because you had an ego. And the demonic spirit, the Baphometic spirit, will tell you that you can do whatever you want and be spiritual at the same time. That's like saying you could commit crimes and get away with it. This is why I love Panic. I came up on Panic. But what month did Panic transition? I think it was November. I think it was around Thanksgiving. But it ain't even on goddamn Google. So it'd be like that. But at the same time, I think you got to be very mindful of your platform and the things that you say. And if you are existing in a greedy disposition or I don't give a fuck disposition, because a lot of times through 6 degrees of separation, I'm the type of person where a motherfucker will tell me some shit that I be wanting to know. What I mean by that is that I be seeing skims and scams online and I be looking at it like a skim and a scam, but then a person would then tell me it's actually a scam, bro. And I'd be like, damn, I knew it was a scam. I'm glad I got that intel. Yeah, man, these motherfuckers don't give a fuck. They just say the same thing over and over again, and the people go crazy for it. That's how they make the money. When they try to do different stuff, when they try to expand the knowledge, the people reject it, and then they want to keep their coins. The same thing about me doing astrology, talking about Western astrology every month. It wasn't right for my spirit. These niggas know, but they won't tell you the truth. And then once it come into November and they not telling you the truth, that karma hit them. The karma hit July, August, September, October, November, the Jason months. We have an obligation to one another. We have a responsibility to one another. And if you are a human being, you be all about yourself. You don't give a fuck about nobody. A lot of times these spiritual motherfuckers don't even give a fuck about their kids because they so spiritual. So all I'm saying is this: don't be so spiritual that you become isolated. Because you come from the hermit into adjustment. What is that adjustment from the hermit? It's a time and a place for everything. The largest sign in the astrological chart is Virgo. The card that rules Virgo is the hermit. So you have more than enough time to self-soothe. But when the sun transits into, and this whole entire time, we could be aware of other people and bettering ourselves. Like, it is a certain point of bettering yourself to be a beacon in your family, to help people out. But at a certain point, you can't be OD with that shit. You have to make that adjustment. So if you are in the space and time where you feeling sorry for yourself, you have to make the adjustment to provide value for others, because if you do not help other people, you will not be able to help yourself. It's impossible. You cannot help yourself without helping other people. Where's the money going to come from? The money comes from other people. Providing value to other people is where the money comes from. So with all that being said, being so selfish in the spiritual journey, doing all this work for you, and it's like, what adjustment can you make? And you can make so many different adjustments. Back to buying the spells, buying love to you, buying finances to you, buying positive experiences, buying vacations to you. If it's not bound to you, how are you going to be able to experience it? And binding spells are the first step to, for lack of better words, witchcraft. Because the Salem witch trials was the extermination of Black people. The extermination of the witches in New Orleans was the extermination of Black people. The Hyokas, the sacred clowns, was the extermination of Black people, because we are mystical. And we derive our mystical arts from the planetary transits, and we understand space and time. We've been studying this stuff for millions of years. And the reason that you could bear witness to the things that I'm saying is because this information is within your DNA. And the only reason that it's not so clear to you is because you haven't meditated. So even the fact that I'm saying it is not good enough, because you have to see it for yourself, you have to make the adjustment. Are you a soul? What the fuck does that mean? If you are a soul, that means that you are a gazillion years fucking old. The knowledge within you is infinite. And at the same time, you will wake up like, damn, how am I going to pay these bills? One's in the chat. How am I going to elevate? How am I going to do this? And then If your heart is as light as a feather, that only comes from one place, your soul. Your heart being heavier than a feather only comes from one place, your ego. Are you able to make the proper adjustment? Interesting thing about Libra, in Babylonian astrology, it was called the claws of Scorpio. And there was no such thing as Libra. And the Romans integrated Libra into the cosmology. And I feel that it was right and exact for them adding Libra, because they utilized Egyptian astrology, because they flipped Ma'at into Virgo and then flipped the scales into Libra. So even though it's Roman mythology, everything Roman mythology is based upon Egyptian mythology. So Roman mythology is easy because it's only a hop, skip, and a jump into ancient Egyptian mythology. Babylonian mythology, it seems to be a dark period in our history where niggas was trying to shoot from the hip. And it's cool, right? It's some knowledge that we get from the Babylonians, but ultimately the collective has chosen Roman mythology to be our deal because it satisfies the Westerners, but it also gives us a direct link to Egyptian mythology. Now, the Egyptian mythos has been reaching out to me over this past week in various ways. One's in the chat if you've been seeing Egyptian mythology in this past month, past week. So when we talk about this new moon, it is tied into deeper spiritual realities to which Anubis plays a gatekeeper to these realities. Because you cannot fake the system. You cannot fake the spirits out. Goofy for even thinking that you could. A lot of times people will try to play you and then they got to double back and they got to treat you right because they have a dream about you. Or somebody tell them about you. They speak you up and they like, oh man, I got to call that nigga, man. Whatever happened with you and Charmaine? Ah, damn, I got to call her. Because the reality of who you are is who you are. And if you don't know who you are, it's cool because it's people that seen you and always knew who you are. What we talk about now is for you to see who you are so you can start exuding this energy. Because when we talk about Libra, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Capricorn, Aquarius, this is big deal, real deal, Holyfield type of stuff. And this is for the superheroes. Everybody not a superhero. You know, people out here wanting to be saved. When you look at the Egyptian letter, and I could be just, this don't even have to be true, but I think it is true. Egyptian gods connected to Marvel. Damn, they got all the gods in Marvel. You see that? What is Marvel? Marvel is about superheroes. So if Marvel is about superheroes and superheroes got the Egyptian gods in there, are we talking about one and the same thing? And is we talking about activating latent energy within our DNA, or are we talking about something else entirely? Maybe we should just go watch a movie, Wolverine or something. No, you cultivate these energies within yourself so you become superhuman. That's the get down. What does superhuman look like to you? If you waking up every day clocking in to a goddamn job and you hate that shit, at the bare minimum, get you some passive income so you don't have to be at work every day. And if you are at work, at least you enjoy it. Do you think all of the ancestors and entities want you to stress out if you lose your job today? Or do they want to be like, oh, I can get another one, or I ain't broke, I got enough money to last me, I'll be all right. There's another job where that come from. You think your ancestors and entities want you to be stressed out over your damn job? So now you go into Anubis with your heart heavy as a feather because your job does stress you out every single day. Kicked your ass. Your ass thinking like, damn, I need to get me a second job. I ain't making enough money. Y'all got that za? What do you believe about yourself is key. And if you believe in reference to the soul, gateway open. If you believe that you're a human, you don't make it. And when you talk about Scorpio, you talk about your side, and this is the place of spiritual death. This is the place of not being connected to source, not being connected to entities, not being connected to spirit, because you don't even recognize yourself as an A alike. You think that you are this human, and you want somebody to feel bad for you, feel sorry for you, lift you up, help you, and you a goddamn God, but you don't see it, you don't feel it, you ain't, it's not real to you. Baby daddy left type shit. That's an excuse to feel bad. You know what I'm saying? Daddy ain't here. Mama ain't here. You still a damn God. So what, like, it's a lot of solutions within your divinity. But if your heart is heavy, you won't see the solutions. If your heart is heavy, you won't have the security. If your heart is heavy, you won't have the love. Y'all be heavy-hearted in relationships. Soon as he do something that you don't like, it's an argument. It's a problem. It's a disappointment. It's anger. You ever seen a guy you like and you just hope that he holler at you? Be bold. Say something to him. I can't say that what if he don't like me? What if he reject me? Your heart is not as light as a feather, and you won't even experience love, because the way that the dating market is, ladies got to shoot their shot. Because once again, we're talking about a new moon. So it really don't matter about the past. It matters about your intention. In order to get so clear on that intention, man, I put together a worksheet. So at the end of it, you can keep this worksheet. You can keep this worksheet close and refer back to it to stay aligned with your intentions during this new moon phase. Because it is the thing that you want. And it's also the thing that you will forget in the course of life. Your baby daddy call you like, oh, I'm about to come over. You like, you're not just about to come over here, Tyrell. You're not just about to come over. I want to see my kid. I want to see my baby. You're not just about to come over. I got company. Oh, you got company? Oh, I'm definitely coming over. You can't just be having no other nigga around my baby. Well, then just be with me then. No, I can't do that. I got too many hoes out here in these streets. So it's like that drama happened, and now you don't even remember your intention because it's like, what happened? What's up with you, girl? Just got into another fight with Tyrell's ass. Just got into another fight. I'm all stressed out. Well, have you been keeping track with your new moon? Girl, I don't even want to deal with that right now. This nigga got me so stressed out. I can't even have a side nigga. But if you wrote it down, You could have fought with Tyrell and then be like, what's your new moon intention? You'd have felt good. Like, oh yeah, I remember. I need to get me ADT security. I need to get me some security cameras. This nigga crazy. That was my new moon intention, girl. I'm glad I remember. So when full moon come, he come knocking on your door. He see you got a Ring camera. He gonna think twice. Because you know the full moons niggas act crazy. Gotta have your thinking head on. So when we talk about Libra, we're talking about the claws of Scorpion. And the thing about the claws of Scorpion, they operate for two modes. They operate for war and they operate for sex. So what a male Scorpion would do is sting a female Scorpion so she can be relaxed, right? Because everything that he about to put her through, she would normally kill him. So you have to relax her first, and then he make love to her, right? And this observation by ancients connected Scorpio, the claws of Scorpio, with the constellation of Scorpio, because once you travel into Scorpio, your energy is being consummated. So what Scorpio plays as a portal for spiritual entities and actual entities. Where did we come from? How did we get here? When we have these simple questions, the answer is usually relegated to Libra and Scorpio, because Libra, or the nakshatra for Libra, which is Swati, is connected to Arcturus. And Arcturus is the gateway to other planetary lives or planetary dimensions. So I'll just show you. Better not could tell you. In astrology, the Arcturus gateway is a period when the star Arcturus aligns with Earth, allowing its light energy to be received by people. This alignment is said to be associated with abundance, prosperity, and spiritual awakening in speaking one's truth. Okay? So when you look at Swati Nakshatra, Swati Nakshatra is the astrological constellation that corresponds to the Western star Arcturus. Okay, and I'm just saying all of this stuff because we're talking about spiritual energy and portals, and to have a visual of just what Arcturus looks like. Gotta do a lot of zooming in for this one, but this is the size of Arcturus, the one that's all the way to the right. Our sun, you can barely see it. It's the second to the left. So even though Arcturus is farther away, the energy that it has upon the sun, upon the moon, and essentially our Earth, it allows us to basically, it's like a train station from our Earth to other dimensions. So when we, and just for reference, and I'll just walk y'all through this. If y'all ever want to know where the nakshatra is in your chart, or the nakshatra for the new moon, you could go to AstroSeek, go to the moon calendar, and we're going to be in November. You can just click November 1st for the new moon. Scroll down a little bit, or no, you can go over here to where it says chart. So you can get the chart. And then to see the nakshatra, you got to first click Sidereal. And once you click Sidereal, it's going to bring you to your Sidereal chart. And then on this right-hand corner, you'll see something that says a bunch of different things, but look for all planet nakshatras. From there, you can see, and I'll show you, that the sun and the moon is at Swati nakshatra. So each nakshatra is actually connected to a fixed star. And this is just ancient cosmology to help us understand and overstand time and place and when to do certain things, because the energy of Arcturus is bright and is strong, and it balances a lot of our world and our ecosystem in the mental, emotional, and spiritual. So all of that to say, this energy is very strong and is very powerful. So I really just wanted to just tell people that I have an article on the new moon in Sidereal Libra. I feel like you should read it in between time. In the meantime, in the rest of the week, I'll continue to go live, time willing, Lord willing, kids willing, things of that nature. And I want to deal with all of the aspects pertaining to the new moon. If you want a sneak peek, you can once again read the article. But ultimately, I want to make sure that we're doing this right. You know, make sure that we're doing the journaling work, because when we come to the full moon, I'm going to ask, you know, do y'all have y'all worksheets or do y'all have y'all journal prompts from the new moon? Because I'm going to be referencing the conversation that we had now. Did you make it through the gateway, or did you feel you got stopped or paused by the gateway? And of course, it's a simple solution. It's a hard application, but it's a simple solution. You have to understand that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, and you have a larger story than the story that you're having as a human. And if you could just tune into your larger story, it'll make a lot more sense than if you're tuning into the smaller story. It is a Yiddish proverb that says a worm in horseradish thinks that the world is horseradish. So whatever you're going through, you can think that it's the whole world, but it's not the whole world. You can expand above and beyond if you so choose, if you could just release and let go. Be in your meditation bag, be in your journaling bag. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can be alerted to when we're going live. And we're going to break down this new moon and various transits, various ideologies. I just wanted to, no pun intended, proverbially pop the cherry and get into a conversation where we can begin to just open our mind and begin to realize some things about ourselves. Main way that you can do this is by journaling, is by having a level of meditation, daily journaling. Even if you don't know what to journal, I got hella prompts on the Substack. A lot of them are for free. Be sure to take part in the financial shadow work intensive. Be sure you got to be intensive on your journaling. Make sure you're able to churn up some of that deep repressed stuff that only you could churn up, because nobody have experienced your life but you. So with all of that being said, man, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video before we get up out of here. And join the Discord. I plan to be live tonight with AD and whoever else as we do our lunar conversations, which is another part of the Discord. So if you want to take part in that, join the Discord. I am the Hood Mystic. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something from it. And I hope it moves you forward to get further into your spiritual work and your spiritual path. And you know, keep that heart light as a feather. Don't take none of this shit too seriously, because at the end of the day, we don't even know why we are even here.
You are traveling with the Hood Mystic.